Welcome to the show, everyone. It's the Crypto Lark. Today, we're going to be talking about the Blue Whale Foundation, the first ICO coming on Icon, aiming to fix the broken gig economy using blockchain. We're going to be getting into just how they propose to do that after a quick shout out to everyone who's been hitting that like button. Of course, everyone who's been subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that button down below or the bell to stay up to date with all of the latest in the crypto space. Furthermore, this is of course not professional financial advice. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. This is an ICO. Please do your own due diligence for investing your own money because there's always a certain amount of inherent risk in investing in any ICO. This sale does unfortunately exclude the citizens of the United States and Canada unless, of course, you are an accredited investor. Furthermore, the team at Blue Whale has reached out to me to do a sponsored review of their project. But as always, I have, of course, reserved the right to keep it an open and honest review, so let's get into it. Freelancing and the gig economy are growing at an exponential rate at the moment. Estimates in the US alone predict that by the end of the next decade, more than 50% of people will be engaged in the gig economy. Now, on the face of it, that sounds great, but when you start to look a bit deeper, you realize there's all kinds of lack of protections. There's insecurity about where your next paycheck's going to come from. High commission fees are currently charged by the tech giants who are reaping the biggest rewards from the services that they are providing. And of course, the people who work for those tech giants are not actually employees, so they don't get things like retirement funds, health insurance, help with their taxes. That all has to be taken care of by the employee. There are basically no benefits. That's where Blue Whale steps in. They want to solve some of these underlying problems facing the gig economy. There are a few key areas that Blue Whale is going to be focusing on in order to try and bring all of this to fruition. The first is what they're calling the Contribution Activity Manager. So this is going to track and reward those who are recommending service providers. Essentially, this is community-driven marketing. It's also going to be handling arbitration, which is very important. And of course, if you want to set yourself up to be a juror in that system, well, you can also get rewards for participation. There will also be rewards for verification of services. There will be verifiers who are paid from the reward bank in order to go out and verify new users. And of course, if you leave a review, you can also get rewards there as well. Really, they want to set up a system of trust for the sharing economy. The second key area is the Decentralized Associated Network. So these will be free software tools for things like bookings and customer relation management, as well as things like advertising. Blue Whale partner VeriLocal has already seen really astonishing results actually in this area with their free booking software, lowering costs while at the same time more than threefold increasing sales, which is very impressive. Furthermore, machine learning will be used to help focus those ads in the right place. One thing to note here, though, is that your data will be monetized by the Blue Whale Foundation, with 60% of the profits from that monetization going back into the reward bank. Which brings us to the reward bank. Now, this is essentially the Blue Whale Bank. So this will receive fees from things like advertising and give out rewards for people doing things like being in the arbitration courts or verifying new service providers. That'll all be taken care of here. Now, 20% of the total amount of tokens are going to be going straight into the reward bank at the start in order to really kickstart the ecosystem. But moving forward, 60% of profits will be returned to the reward bank in order to keep the ecosystem going long term. And that'll be used to offer really innovative things like sick leave to people working in the gig economy, which is of course absolutely massive. Now, one thing to point out here with things like sick leave is that should there be a situation where there's not actually enough coins in the reward bank to pay out all of the people on sick leave, they may issue new coins in the future, which may lead to some potential inflation further down the line. You can also earn rewards for things like your pension. Yes, you can save up future payouts for a pension, which is very, very interesting for a blockchain project. They will also be looking at decentralized mergers and acquisitions, essentially white labeled dApps, really adding trust and utility to the ecosystem. Platforms can even issue their own coins, although they must maintain an adequate reserve of Blue Whale Exchange tokens. The DAO is going to be their main governance structure. This will be a federated system with Blue Whale at the center and smaller provinces being able to make up their own rules to an extent, so long as they do not really impede on the federal rules. And finally, the token will be used to pay for services like ads, but also will be used to issue out rewards, reward people for taking part in arbitration, and of course it will also be accepted by all of the different dApps in the Blue Whale ecosystem. Having a look at the team, it is a very impressive team indeed. It is a big team and a team with lots of experience. The CEO, Will, for example, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's also the one behind VeriLocal, which is the company we mentioned earlier. Hyun Jin, 20 years of experience and formerly of Samsung. Ha-Won is the CEO of a company called Chain.tob, which is a global blockchain service operator. Jay is the former VP over at Samsung. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The team here is quite extensive, a lot of people with a lot of great experience, and even some very well-connected and highly experienced advisors on the list as well. 2 people from the Icon Foundation Council, as well as the CEO over at Stormex. So a very impressive collection of people indeed. Before breaking down the roadmap, I did want to highlight some of the partners as well. As mentioned, we have VeriLocal, which is going to be providing some software solutions. But then we also have companies like Kozaza, which is the Korean equivalent of Airbnb. Dalkomsoft is a Korean music and entertainment company. Crowdworks, Korean crowdsourcing company mainly focusing on Mechanical Turk. And that is just a small sampling of the already announced partners. And the team said that there will be quite a few more partnership announcements coming in the very near future. So that's something to stay tuned for. And of course, Icon. They have the full technical support, and that is massive, by the way, of Icon, not to mention the fact that Icon's really going to be offering Blue Whale that interoperability, which is going to let them communicate really across so many spaces. So a very powerful partner to have indeed. Let's check out the roadmap. Now, the roadmap really kicks off from Q4 2018 in my mind, because that's when we're really going to see the alpha rolling out in 4 different geographic regions: the USA, Canada, Singapore, and Japan, which is of course a very spread out region. A lot of different countries we're focusing on at one time, which is perhaps a concern that you might want to highlight. Q3 2019, a long time from now, is when we're going to be seeing our reward bank coming out. Further on into the future, 2020, until we start seeing things like the retirement reward protocol or the insurance reward protocol, which is of course ages in crypto time. Some other concerns you may want to have in mind: we do have, for example, health and medical benefits planned, but of course, as we know, that can be very tricky in implementation. The competition is incredibly big and incredibly well funded, although to a large extent their business models are already set up, so a blockchain project may very well be well suited towards disrupting companies like Uber. Although we do have a lot of blockchain-based projects entering the gig economy space now, because really it is a very good fit for the giggers. Not to mention that this is a huge ecosystem and a project of a massive scale, which can of course be very challenging, bringing all of these different communities in, getting the message out to people. It can absolutely be tricky indeed. And the final thing is that they've actually got a very small social media presence in the West at the moment. Now, they do have a lot of people on Kakao, for example, which is a South Korean messaging service. But for a company which is planning to roll out Q4 in Canada and the USA, they really need to work on bringing up their social media presence in the West. Let's get into the token sale. The sale itself is kicking off in May. In total, there will be 104 billion tokens, which is a lot of tokens. Half of those are going to be available for the public sale. In total, they are raising 52 million Singapore dollars, which at the current rates is right around 40 million US. The price is locked 1 Sing to 800 tokens. Now, 50% of the tokens are going to the public, although for the main sale, it's only about 20%. 38% are going for the company and community reserve to help kickstart the ecosystem, and only a small percentage, 12%, is going to the team on a 3-year vesting period, so that they are really locked into carrying out the roadmap. Ethereum and Icon will both be accepted during the sale. Any unsold tokens, should there be any, and I don't imagine there will. I have a strong feeling this is a sale that is definitely going to sell out. They sold out the pre-sale, and the main sale is going to sell out as well, in my humble opinion. But should there be any, they will be burnt. There is a really good breakdown as well in the white paper of how they're planning to spend the money. It's much more intricate than many white papers will give you. So that's a real nod of respect from them to the investor. Now, the bonuses is something you might want to keep in mind as well. During the private pre-sale, there was a 50% bonus for approximately 10% of the total amount of tokens. Those all went to strategic investors, venture capital funds. The pre-sale bonus was 30%. That was about 20% of the total amount of tokens. Now, those are going to be locked for 3 months after listing. And should you get into the sale early when the main sale kicks off, there will be a 10% bonus for early bird investors in the main sale. That's a lot of bonuses though. Now the coin is scheduled to be listed in Q3 of this year, which is a long time from now, but they do have a new advisor on board, the founder of OKCoin, and he is working to speed up the process of getting listed, so you might not have to wait so long to get liquidity for your tokens. Blue Whale offers a lot of opportunities. The gig economy is something that's only growing, and anyone who can offer extra services and really add extra value to people working in the gig economy are going to have great success. As we continue to move more forward, freelancers will be demanding more from what they're doing. Blue Whale may very well be poised to give them that added value. Not to mention, of course, that this is Icon's first ICO, which will make it a very high hype, high perspective ICO. But those are just the two Satoshis of a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. You'll let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.